at that point, that was honestly probably the funniest way that I could have ever made a friendship. And at that point, I was like, what? So, and like, I had to like really process that. I'm like, so what happened? Like, why you never gave me your pitch? Like, you didn't even tell me what you were selling. And she was like, well, you had your house fire. You just seemed like you had a lot going on. And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, it just didn't seem like it was appropriate for me to maybe like pitch you hair products. I'm like, oh, so back in 2018, when I finally got on my own, I moved into my own apartment with a couple of roommates and was kind of figuring out life just as a mid 20s kid. Don't really know what's going on, don't have a lot of connections. I do and I don't. I found myself in a Target just by myself wandering around, maybe a little bit of window shopping, probably picking up at things I don't need. In the aisles, there was a relatively tall blonde woman who approached me and she goes, I really love your cardigan. Where did you get that? And we start chatting it up. I tell her where I get it. And we do the whole compliment song and dance. I love your hair. I love this. You're so pretty. And she's like, well, we should talk to each other a little bit more. Would you want my number? I'm like, yeah, why not? Because at this point, like, I'm kind of trying to reinvent myself. I don't know what the connections that I currently have are for me. I'm really, really open for new connections. She messages me about a week later and wants to, link up and maybe do like a coffee date. That unfortunately didn't work out because my house that my parents were living in was set on fire. Not like not someone on purpose, but it was unfortunately an electrical fire. So there was a lot happening, lots of moving parts. And she was like, you should probably focus on that. We can come back to like a coffee date later. I'm like, yeah, thanks. Thank you so much. Like, absolutely frazzled. So as that was happening, she eventually once again reached back out and I was like, okay, well, I have the mental space to be able to be around new people. We have one coffee date and it was a lot of fun. And I was like, let's do this again. We slowly develop a relationship over time. She invites me to her own housewarming party because she also moved to a new space. And then I got to meet a bunch of her friends. And during that housewarming party, she revealed to me that she was actually trying to take me on as a new client. She was actively working at an MLM at the time and was seeking out people as she was just out in the public to see if she could put a pitch on them to buy items from her. And at that point, I was like, what? So, and like, I had to like really process that. I'm like, so what happened? Like, why you never gave me your pitch? Like, you didn't even tell me what you were selling. She was like, well, you had your house fire. You just seemed like you had a lot going on. And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, it just didn't seem like it was appropriate for me to pitch you hair products. I'm like, oh, I'm like, okay. And I was like, so we're friends? But like, and she's like, we're friends. Like, this was not intentional. So at that point, that was honestly probably the funniest way that I could have ever made a friendship. And it does kind of make you think like connection, yes, is everywhere you could possibly go, but like also intentions could warp at any point because I didn't even know when she initially approached me in that Target that she was like, yeah, I actually really want to sell you this like energy drink or hair product. Like she never told me what it was. But ever since then, we became really, 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 really close. Like we're pretty much inseparable at this point. I ended up taking her with my family to 2 weeks in Italy to show her my father's hometown. At that point, when we were a week and a half deep and we're both exhausted and missing our pets and our partners, and we were looking at each other, and it was like the middle of the night, and she's like, I'm just so done. And I'm like, me too. And I looked at her, I was like, if we're friends after this, I think we're good. I think we're good. And it's been a little over a year after that trip, and we're still really solid. There are times where I get to spend time with her, and she just really shows me a new side of herself and brings out a new side of me that I'm so appreciative of. It all just starts because some strange woman approached me in a Target, you know. So yeah, keep an open heart. She is wonderful, and you never know if that weird woman in a Target is going to be your next best friend.